Hey everyone, how's it going? Firebase Z will be released in 2 weeks' time, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about the 4 things this map needs to succeed. This is all just my opinion, so at the end of the video, leave your thoughts on what the map needs in the comments below, and if you're watching this after the map's release, leave a comment if anything on this list made it into the game. The first thing Firebase Z needs is a better balance between depth and accessibility. The most important thing zombies needed after Black Ops 3 and 4 was to become accessible to casual fans, while not removing the depth that kept hardcore fans engaged. Cold War largely does this, but the scales are a little unbalanced. D-Machine is very accessible, and that's a good thing. But aside from the absurd weapon progression system, there's not a whole lot of reasons to play zombies. Firebase Z needs to add more depth without reverting to the bad habits that caused casual fans to jump ship during Black Ops 3 and 4. It's a hard balance to make, but the scales need to tip more towards depth, and since we already have a very accessible map with D-Machine, they can afford to go more towards depth than they otherwise would. The second thing Firebase Z needs is to make the story interesting. The story in Cold War is completely uninteresting right now. Nobody's talking about it, and that isn't unexpected. The first map is largely just setting up the story, and most story arcs have a pretty quiet first act. But in Firebase Z, the story really needs to pick up. This might seem like a strange comparison, but Treyarch should look towards the Extinction mode for influence. Story-wise, Point of Contact is boring. It's all military talk with no characters or substance. Then Nightfall released and we got some story, and while it didn't stick with the zombies community, it did get some people interested in the game mode. Extinction is a game mode that went from essentially no story and just military commands to some sort of narrative focus. Also, they need to do this without bringing back the original Aether storyline. If Ultimus Victus or the Primus crew show up at any point in this map, I will literally throw my console out the window. We need the story to progress, and we can't do that by rehashing old characters. Related to the story, we have to fix the characters in Cold War. The operators are boring. Hearing them speak is like watching paint dry. And unfortunately, I don't think you can cut them out of the game due to how the game mode is structured, but what they could do is surround the operators with interesting characters. Bringing it back to Extinction, the characters that you play as in Extinction are boring. They're just random soldiers. But you hear your commander, Samantha Cross, and Archer, and they help add character and charm to the mode. Extinction failed miserably at that because those characters were also uninteresting, but that doesn't mean it couldn't work for Cold War if they write interesting and engaging characters. And it seems like this structure could fit the map. According to Treyarch, we're saving Samantha Maxis from a prison at Firebase Z, and she and possibly some other POWs could guide us through the Easter egg and add some wit to the map. And speaking of the Easter egg, it needs to be harder to solve. Once the D-Machine Easter egg was turned on, it was solved in mere hours. That can't happen again. The Easter egg is huge for the community, and having it solved so early really destroys the hype for any new map. It's worth noting that I still want the Easter egg to be accessible. That was one of the things D-Machine did really well. It just needs to be harder to initially solve, but should be straightforward once the puzzle is solved. And just like I said in my video on what Cold War Zombies needs to be successful that I put out before launch, I want better rewards for completing the Easter egg. For those who haven't seen that video, I wanted a 3-pronged approach to Easter eggs. I wanted a game-specific reward and a map-specific reward for completing the Easter egg on a certain map, as well as a reward for completing every Easter egg in the game. We won't get that last reward until we get the rest of the maps in Cold War, and D-Machine couldn't have a game-specific reward because the game ends after it's done. And it's likely that future Easter eggs will all be tied to the exfiltration system, so we may never see a game-specific reward. But we never got a map-specific reward either. D-Machine is exactly the same as it was after you complete the Easter egg as it was before you complete the Easter egg. I would like that to change with Firebase Z. Unfortunately, I can't give an example on what they should do because it depends so much on the map itself, so I suggest you watch that old video to get some ideas on what they could do. But that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you hope to see in Firebase Z in the comments below. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.